Yes, yes. Welcome to the George Mason Show, everybody. Huh? Come on. Uh, yeah. Uh. Love that beat. Love that beat. Got a great show for you tonight. Big it up. Give it a big round of applause. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm just ready to get into it. I'm not going front, huh? I got Jim Robertson from the UK. That's for y'all don't know. That's the United Kingdom, huh? Come on, stop playing. Act like you know. And Alexa, what time is it in Portsmouth, UK?
In Portsmouth, it's 1 a.m.
Damn. Wow. Wow. It's 1 a.m. in Portsmouth, and that's who I have on. That's my guest for this evening. And Jim is an educator. You see it up there. Coach. He's a motivational speaker, business owner, youth. He's going to tell you about all that. He's going to break it down in detail and go into it. He's going to elaborate. He's also an educator, and he stresses, and I love it. He stresses education first and foremost. Big that up. Much respect to that. And that's really what it's all about. And I mean, I knew that, and I was breaking it down to Jim, but I put it first and foremost in my head as far as everything evolves and, around education. Education is the key, as the man put it. When I first seen Jim, he was, he's a coach too, a football coach. And I was coaching with my friend, his friend, mutual friend, Coach Whitfield, Calvin Whitfield, over at Jamaica. And Jim had came, from UK. He was with his brother, biological brother, and basically breaking down to the team. Man, I was impressed with him. I really was. And you're very, articulate, man, and he knows his stuff. Hey, salute, brother Marv. What's up? This is my partner here, the marvelous one. What up, Marv? Salute to you, brother. I got Jim Robertson here. You met him, So yeah, we're gonna get into it. And yeah, I was telling Cal, I said, yo, man, and I mentioned it, I think Sean Covington, because him and Sean, they went to school at the University of Rhode Island. And I said, yo, man, I saw, Jim. He said, I said, brother, smooth, man. He said, yeah, that's Jim. That's Jim. That's Jim. So what I'm gonna do, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm ready. I'm ready. Jim Robertson. Bring Jim out. And welcome you, brother. Alexa said it's 1 o'clock in the morning and the AM there.
1 o'clock, babe. 1 o'clock, man. 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
5 hours and 20 minutes ahead of you.
Yeah. I appreciate you, and I thank you for this, man.
No, I pray, appreciate it, and thank you very much, man. Sometimes you think you might get forgotten about, man. So it's very, I appreciate it very much, man. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, because I was, like I said, I read your credits and list of credits, and there's one thing that stood out with me. In your list, your resume, if you will, about something you have called the Aspire Project.
Yeah.
What
Well, hey, we talk about young people. I work, with young people. The Aspire Project, man, was this whole thing about, hey, we're defined by what we see. And if that's true, then the more we see, the more we can aspire to be. And looking at that whole situation, say, okay, what exactly is that about, man? So for me, living in the UK, living in England where I live at, we do a couple of things, Aspire. So we try to get the kiddies out, students out as much as we can. I'm on trip number 35 as far as bringing students from the UK, high school students at whatever school I'm working at or whoever asks, looking at from here and bringing them across to New York. So we usually stay in Times Square. We usually stay for about 5 days, 5 nights, and they pay for it. but it's about trying to find the lowest price so we can get them at flights and hotel. But just think about this, man. You're 16 years old, 17 years old, you know, and you get a chance to go to New York, you know, hang out in New York. We're a New Yorker. So, you know, yeah, we up at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning sightseeing. We get up early in the morning. Every major site they see.
And you take them right in the heart of, in the belly of the beast, 42nd Street. You don't play around. 40 doo-wop.
We stay on Times Square. We usually use hotels on Times Square. It's important, man, that you aspire to be. So even if it's maybe a kid might want to someday go to school in America, all that kind of stuff, we try to plant the seeds. Everything involved in the trip, from the airport to the hotel, is a career somewhere. It's a career somewhere that a kiddie has to see and say, yo, man, I might want to do that for the rest of my life. I might want to do that. Or I might want to give that a try. We've taken kids across to sightsee. We've taken kids across to play football over here, what they call football. We call it soccer, at home. But we've taken kids across to play in Rhode Island, play in New York, Virginia.
Are these some of the kids you take them this age as well?
Now, some of the younger kids, what we do through Youth Minded is we sponsor a couple of teams. The young people you see in front of me is one of the teams that we kind of sponsor. They play soccer. That's a soccer team. And, you know, all sport is important to me. So whether it be soccer, whether it be whatever they come to me with, but if I can help out, we do. So we've sponsored a couple of teams in the past. And, you know, just like uniforms, that type of thing. Again, I came here to coach football. And those are some of the guys. This is the picture you see here is a first championship game.
Is that right?
1996, I want to say. And basically, you know, over here in England, I came to England to coach football. They have very good football over here. I got here in 89. And, you know, it took me a while to figure it out. But first championship was in 96. We got one in 98, got one in 2004.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a big year for me too, George, because I'm actually celebrating my first high school championship. So I was a high school coach, Westchester County, Tuckahoe High School. And we
that's
went
where you're from, though. Tell everybody that's where you're from.
I had the blessing, man, of being from there. It was kind of like a tricky thing. So I came from Tuckahoe. I had a chance. We'll talk about some things during the show. But one of the things I've had a chance to do was go to a place called Bronxville High School. My Bronxville experience was I was the only Black person there. So I know we're going to talk about that a little bit, but it was actually the experience of a lifetime. And due to the experience. I know you
went to school.
Roger Goodell, you see in the picture, he and I played all 3 sports. This is back in the day when you played 3 sports. So me and my man, we were 3 sport people. We played basketball, football, basketball, and baseball. And it wasn't so much about how well we played. It was the fact that back in them days, we were 3 sport guys. You know, we went from one sport to the next.
Baseball, basketball, football, mainly.
Oh, I absolutely blessed, man. I was all county football, all county baseball. You know, so sport was that thing. Bronxville was that real experience, man. You know,
I know Jim Brown played 3 sport, but he lacrosse. He was a lacrosse player. Yeah. You know, one of the greatest lacrosse players to ever play the game was a dude named Jim Brown. You know, that's what I said. Yeah, he
fantastic.
was. He said that he loved lacrosse more than football. Lacrosse was number 1.
Yeah. I got a grandson over there named Cam. He's up in Connecticut. He plays a little lacrosse. And plays football and lacrosse. So it's a nice combination. Yeah.
I'm going to show something real quick. That hat you're wearing is interesting. That's part of.
I'm a school teacher and a parent, 2 of the best jobs in the world. And I got my own company, it's called Youth Minded. I've been gifted, man, to have people who always took interest in me. You know, my natural feeling is to do back what people have done for me. So I take an interest in people. You know, aspiration, you know what I mean? Aspire to be. And know that your education is like a huge part of that. Education is the greatest thing you're ever going to have. Your education is the #1 key to unlocking a world of opportunities. Educate yourself, man, and the world is yours. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. when you educate yourself. It gives you choice. Education provides choice. So my big message all over, everywhere I go, man, is the power of an education. I believe that an education is the only way to change your life.
A belief that you can accomplish anything you want.
Because I might see somebody that had the skills that I had. And instead of maybe thinking, you're a class clown, you ain't gonna make it, I may start thinking, yo, man, he's gonna be fantastic on the stage someday. But it's your future, and you getting the most out of your future. Educate yourself, my man, and you will get the most out of your future.
Appreciate that, man.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the Aspire Project, right? Aspirations.
Yeah. George, to me, it's all wrapped up in this thing, man. Education. What is an education for? What comes first? You know, do you aspire somebody to want the education? Do you aspire somebody to want to do something different in life? And then the education comes. You know that old thing about the light coming on. And
Yeah.
everybody light comes on a different time. But do you get ready? You get a person ready for that light to come on. And I think if you got that education, when the light comes on, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah, well, you know, you covered the whole, you know, spectrum of it. Being a coach, being an educator first and foremost. As you said, you put the, that up front first and foremost, and everything evolves around that. And then you do your lecturing, your motivational speaking and stuff, and you are also an author, which is I'm going to show this here. It's called The Discipline Coach.
Yeah. First shot at it, George. It's to me, you know, it's still being printed. To me, it's a big deal because it's still in print. You can still buy it on Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
Yeah, companies over here still sell it. But I think the big deal for me is it's going on 20 years. It's still in print. Yeah, it's still going
20
on.
years? Wow. Yeah.
What I wanted from the book was a little bit different because if you see a copy of it, you'll see some blanks. There's a lot of blank space. I wanted people to use it like a journal. So we throw out ideas. There's ideas in the book. There's things in the book. But I wanted people to be able to write right in the book. And it was one of the things where a guy publisher told me, yo, man, folks over here don't really like writing in books. But it was meant to be, I'm going to get it around to be.
Did you make that clear? Did you clarify that? Did you?
I did. And like I said, that's one of those things about the book. Yeah, that, you know, if I had a chance to redo it or someday I might redo it, but to really push it as like a journal. You know, write your thoughts in and put your thoughts down.
Right,
Here's one of mine. You know, what you thinking, what you going to achieve tomorrow, what you going to do tomorrow, that kind of thing. So like a journal to me, I still, again, folks that are buying it, write in it, man. Use it, write in it, draw some pictures, whatever you want to do, but use the book like a journal.
So you got part 2 in the works.
I got part 2 in the works. I'm working on a book right now.
That's what I asked. Right.
Yeah, it's about rapport. It's an education book built for school. But dude, I came across, you know, a lot of people talk about building relationships and how key is relationships in like teaching, you know, and they talked about, but then to me, studying it, George, and really studying it, man, I came across what's the real key to building a relationship. See, most of the time, it's that first time you meet. And to me, that thing is about this word called rapport. And if you look at rapport, and to my definition is making a connection. And when you look at rapport, I think then it kind of sets you up for certain things that might be happening over there, you know, with different situations. But through rapport and making that contact or that connection, you can also tell when folks don't want to make that connection with you, when they don't want to have that rapport with you. Yeah. Right. And if you don't want to have a rapport with me, how in the world are we ever going to build a relationship?
True.
So I'm doing some work with a marriage counselor dude, and his talk, you know, he loves to talk because, well, Jim, actually, the rapport is the first step to a relationship.
Yeah.
The first step to maybe get married, because if you build a rapport with your partner, maybe it goes the next step, goes the next step, goes the next step. But if we can't even build a rapport, the relationship's going to be a little bit short. Things going to be a little bit short. So the book is about rapport, how we build rapport in schools. I'm talking, we talk about well-being, George. We talk about making kiddies feel good. I could have different nationalities come to my school. How many schools you've been to where if you see an African kid, you welcome him with Ujamo? If you see a kid from Poland, you say Zindabre. If you see a kid from Spain, you say Hola. If you see a kid from Turkey, you say Merhaba. I do. Every single kid in that school has a different culture. Yeah, I recognize them, man. I got Muslim brothers. I say Salaikum Salam, Salaikum Allah. As soon as I see them, Salam Alaikum. As soon as they see me, they say it to me. But this is school. Isn't this what school is supposed to be?
That's what it's supposed to be, no doubt. Yeah. Well, see, a lot of that, like you're saying, what you're putting out there is not even taught, in school here in the States. I'll say States, but abroad, so it sounds like it's a different approach, and you have the mindset along those lines that's healthy, and to build, as you say, rapport is a key and foundational. So
yeah,
as you put, like any relationship, almost every relationship should have, as you say, rapport. Yeah, no doubt.
How we make that connection? How did that connection happen? How did I want to call you again? How do we want to talk again? What is the whole rapport thing, man, that we get? And again, rapport, relationships, sometimes they take time. Rapport sometimes could be instant because you never get a second chance at the first impression. So this is an instant thing we're talking about.
Yeah, say that again. Yeah, that's fact.
Yeah. And
sometimes chance of making a first impression.
And you can be turned off. You can be turned off by certain things, man, in that first impression. Yeah. So that's what the book's about. It links up, school teaching. Yeah, we talk about making these kiddies feel good. I would like to make school the coolest place in the world. I think that starts with teachers.
And if it's done right, like your approach, it can be fun too. Learning, it can be fun. It really can be, just because there's just so much out there that, it's not hit upon. We don't explore a lot of things. I don't know why, like I some of the shows I do, I stress positivity here on this format, and I don't just do the Black History Month in February. I do that, but I do the 10 Black inventors, engineers. I did with the comedians, show people, to show the diversity. It's just, but not just in February.
Yeah, man. Year round. Yeah. Because that's part of the Inspire Project too, man. I mean, you can see over my shoulder here, this is my pride and joy. But it goes down to the floor, man. But this is my pride and joy. Everything over here, I have read. Everything over here. So when I came from the States to here, one of the first things I had to do was re-educate myself. Yeah.
And you said 80, you've been in
89, I got here.
It's 89.
89, right. 89, man. And, one of the ways I had to re-educate myself was right over here, man. And every single one you see up there has been read. Any topic you could pick up is there. But that whole positivity thing, that whole my approach thing is just what you said, man. I believe in education the way I do. My approach is because I want school to be the coolest place in the world. How are we going to make that happen? Teachers make that place happen. Make that place the coolest place in the world. You can imagine, dude, again, smiles, the whole positive thing, the whole rapport thing, not just on good days, but on days when you might not be feeling good.
Right.
My situation, George, I'm blessed, man. It's incredible. When I was full-time teaching in the UK, and even the discipline coach or even the rapport book, the majority of my students, are white. When I'm looking at my trips, we take trips on the kids on Saturdays, man. We have a program called YES that we used to run. YES stands for Young Explorer Squad.
Okay.
Yeah, so, we would go. And these, we would go to the school, we're going to Brighton, going somewhere on the train, London. Yeah, we put it out. They're subsidized. So they only pay a certain amount to go because money wasn't the mission. I'm not, and nor are the other teachers paid to be there on a Saturday. But we all believe in this whole thing about aspirations. We want to show you something else you could do on a Saturday and some other fun you could have on a Saturday, something else you could do on a Saturday. Yeah.
Right.
Besides whatever. And someday when you get to be an adult, you can take your kids. We show you how to do with your kids. So we take you to all the major sites in London. We take you to some other nice places along the South Coast in England. And the whole deal, man, is again, aspire to be. I got to show you something, dude. If you don't see nothing, what you going to aspire to be? But the more you see, the more you can aspire to be. So the whole thing is a little bit, it's my approach. It's a youth-minded approach. It's our thing. Like I said, man, we take kids. I was on a train one time, man, and my wife, this is a true story. We was on the train, and I don't really do the black and white thing over here. So I'm sitting on the train. There's 25 kids, myself, my wife, a couple other people as adults. And there was a lady on the train. She just happened to be a white lady, and she was older. And the kids kept coming to me, and they called me sir, because they call everybody sir over here. That's the name for teacher. Okay. So sir. Yeah, it's like the movie To Sir With Love.
That was a great movie, man. Great movie.
Yeah, so the guy, I'm living a real life movie like that, George. Anyway, the lady says to me, she leans across and she says, "Are all those children yours?" Well, I was the only black dude on the train. So I took it at this lady and the way they were talking with me. This lady said, "Are all those children yours?" I looked at my wife. We had a smile. I said, "Yes, miss, they're all mine." It's been that kind of thing. See, I think the rapport thing is way deeper, man. I want to make it a science, man. This thing is so deep that I don't, the color thing, I get what's going on over there, but I got this thing about one race, the human race, and made up of a whole bunch of fantastic cultures. I'm blessed again because I have a platform. I get to go to schools. I get to talk to folks. I get to say that to kids every day. I get to ask kids how many races are there. I've had some kids tell me, 5, 6. And then I say, man, I don't know what they're teaching you, but there's one race, the human race.
The human race. Yeah.
Made up of a whole bunch of fantastic, but it's a real deep thing when you think about it, George, because if you say there's one race, the human race, then how are you racist?
Wow.
How do you get to be racist?
Wow.
Now, I can understand culturists.
Yeah.
I understand culturists. I'm cool with culturists.
Yeah.
But I, because of my beliefs and because of my training and because of my research, if you believe there's one race called the human race, if you then turn around and say somebody's racist that to me is like a little bit of a contradiction there. And
it is a contradiction, but it takes away, from somebody trying to be racist because, you covered the whole spectrum. You covered everything when you hit it there. How can somebody say something that's derogatory, towards blacks, towards whites, towards Spanish, with one, us being, because it's interesting you say that. And you put it out there like that. I got a buddy at work, right? And, he's Polish cat. And, he's a good dude, good looking guy, right? He's like a Polish Rob Lowe. He's bagged to women. But he's married. He's happily married, but he's got eyes Roman, whatever. He's young,
right.
And he's got that thing with calling. He called me up. He still from the job. We worked 25, 38. My nigga. He has that with that. He's loose with that. He doesn't mean anything by that. But the thing is, he said, "My nigga George, my nigga, you're my," and he loves saying it. And I said to a woman, his name is Roman, Romanowski, Peter, Peter Romanowski. Yeah, I said, "Yo, Peter, that's the Romans, call him Roman." Yo, man, I said, you say nigga. I said, you my nigga. He's my nigga. I said, because Romans, we're all from the same Father, the Heavenly Father. You know that. He got quiet. He didn't know that. I said, so in essence, Romans, you're my brother.
Yes. For sure.
You nigga.
Yeah,
for sure. George, why you say that, man? He didn't like the fact that I called him nigga back. He didn't like it.
Yeah.
He felt a certain kind of way. So, and
Yeah.
like, I didn't have a problem with him saying that, but I just wanted to hip him to something. Like, yo, man, if we're all from the essence, all from the same father, you are my brother in the spirit world. Huh?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're a nigga. Oh, yo, he said, George, you know, something wrong with you today. Yeah.
You want to go with the flow. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't like that. I think the fact that you're coming with the one human race, you know what I'm saying? That's like on the same, you know, same realm.
Yeah. If you stay with it though, yeah. If you got one race, the human race, made up of a whole bunch of fantastic cultures. Now, cultures are for sharing, but I've also hit on something, George. So culture-wise, would you want me to take over your culture? Would you want my culture to be the main culture? And I think that's the problem that you lovely folks have over there where you are right now.
Well, you know what? Coaches a lot of people are not hip. A lot of people are not up on that. They're not conscious along those lines, like where you're coming from. You know what I'm saying? The one race, the human race, you know, people want to like that divide and conquer. So if they feel that they're superior, they're above me, then they can look down on me and then rule and control, that type of thing. So when you level the playing field, so you know, when you say human, we're all the same, we're all equals for real. I don't care how much money you got, how much money you don't have, you know, we're still the same. And then the people don't, they'll, you know, that respect, they want you to, you know, respect them, but they won't respect you because they may have $2 more than you or whatever, you know. But that graveyard, that kind of is an equalizer, isn't it? We're all checking up out of here.
We all go there.
Like when you're from in Westchester, in Tuckahoe, Westchester has always been like, when you say Westchester, affluent, you know, you got Scarsdale, Hartsdale, Rye, New York, money there. Tuckahoe, where you from? They called you Tuck, right?
Yeah. Well, see, Tuckahoe, man, if you go back and you look at the history of Tuckahoe, the history of Tuckahoe is vital because the history of Tuckahoe was a surge of folks from the South moving up to New York and working in these munition factories and different factories during wartime. And so that's where the enclave of Tuckahoe came from. And there was actually, you know, I had a big family in Tuckahoe, dude. And most of the families that were there came from the South. Yeah, most of them came up. My dad drove a truck. Most of my friends' dads did something. But that whole, and we lived in what you call the projects, you know, every
but it's different kind of projects there. You know, I mean, you know,
it wasn't as big as say what would happen where you came from down in Queens or something, but we had a projects, man, because a project was the theme of put them in an area, well, put a school in that area, put a store in that area, put some other things in that area that ain't so nice, and yo, let's see how they live, and it's a project, and that's how it came about, and that's in books. But that was the idea for projects.
Like our friend Calvin Whitfield. He's from New Rochelle,
City Park.
Yeah, and that's a project, but it's in the woods. It's a whole different. It's almost like an experiment that they tried, you know, where they put the projects. You know, it's still a project, but it was like, you know, nothing like you said, like here in the City Park. I'm in Queens, yes, you know, but they got the
my projects was like Calvin's projects, just not as
like
big.
that. It's like City Park.
That was not as big. It was absolutely fantastic, man. And I mean, it was where we hung out. And Tuckahoe was a real cool place, man, because you have Black families that own homes too in Tuckahoe. So we had 2 streets where the projects were. And then we had homes where, you know, Black people owned homes, man.
Right.
Oh, man, it was so you could get to go see folks that own houses and you get to go hang out with folks that lived in the projects, man.
Wow.
But I saw, and I questioned, okay, why they got houses? We live in the projects. My uncle had a house. Again, he worked for the Cadillac dealer. He had a house. His house was Sidney Savage was his name. His house was the focal point. So anybody coming from the South first, we stopped by his house. They lived at his house for a while. and then you move into the projects, or you like my aunt that lived in the Bronx, you buy you a co-op and you go live in the Bronx. But they all started at his house, and that's the way we used to do,
What
man.
part of the South where you're from?
Oh, well, my dad's from North Carolina,
Uh-huh.
and my mom's from Virginia. Where my dad is from is called, is a huge plantation called Robersonville or Robertsonville, depending on how you pronounce it. My mom was from Maryland, from the southern Eastern Shore. She's from Accomack County, which is right near Norfolk. Yeah. So, you know.
I lived in Norfolk for a while. I like Norfolk.
Oh, dude, I used to go to Accomack.
Yeah.
Listen, man, my dad used to put us in cars, man. We go visit my folks in Baltimore, go visit my folks in North Carolina, go visit my folks in Virginia. We used to travel to Baltimore during the riots, man, in the 60s. Because my dad's mother, my grandmother lived in Baltimore. So my aunt lived in Newark. So we used to go to Newark during the riots. And my dad used to take us everywhere.
No joke.
Dude, we used to stand in line. My dad used to take us to the Apollo Theater, George, and during the riots, man. And we would wait in line to see James Brown, man. He drove a truck, and every day he used to drive through Harlem, going to the city. So I got to see Harlem burning, man, as a kid. So I'm blessed, man.
It was a different Harlem back then, though. It was a whole,
man. My foundation was something. We used to go to the Apollo, George. I mean, my dad used to take us, man. He drove a truck. But every month, when that show was at the Apollo, the Temptations, Four Tops, Patti LaBelle, you name it, Diana Ross and the Supremes, with the Temptations, you name a band.
That was a hell of an era. That was a hell of an era back then.
Yeah, man. Jackie
I feel
Robinson.
bad for this generation that they didn't experience what we did.
Okay.
And
Dude, you ready?
Yeah.
I got a memory right now. You ready? I'm sitting in front of you, and I'm thinking right now about Stevie Wonder. He was little Stevie Wonder.
Little Stevie Wonder.
Years old.
Yeah.
He had a harmonica stuck around his neck. He was sat in front of a drum, and he had a piano, and he was on the Apollo, and I was there, and he used to try to get up, and people used to rush to the stage, put him back. And they called him Little Stevie.
Little Stevie, yeah.
He had a song. He had an album out called The Jazz Tunes of Little Stevie. Well, my man, him, Jackie Wilson, I've seen all this in person, man, as a kid. This has an effect on you. This causes you to aspire to be.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and I wanted to point out my buddy Eddie P was on the check-in.
My dad used to put back in the day, you know, people wasn't stopping. We used to get them chicken sandwiches. We didn't stop. We stopped for gas. That was it.
That's it. Yeah. I was saying about my buddy Eddie P. I don't know if you said he's on the check-in. He's from Marietta, Florida. He's out there. And they going with Marietta. It's he told me it was hot today. It's his birthday too. Partner, shout him out. Partner, happy birthday, partner.
Yeah.
No doubt. He told me it was like Alexa, what's the temperature in Marietta, Florida right now?
Right now, in Marietta, Florida, it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit.
81, and it's 8:30 here. You know,
wow.
It's 1:30 there where you at now, right?
Hot night. Yeah.
Hot night there, yeah.
But hot night.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. My grandmother took me to see at the Apollo James Brown, right? When he did that Please, Please, Please.
Yeah. We might have been there together, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, and Pigmeat Mark, I don't know, Pigmeat Markham was there.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen Mom's Mabley used to do the opening. I've seen Mom's Mabley, man.
Yeah. Here come the judge. Here come that.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Otis had
it's just great history, man. Incredible, great history.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I mean the music that our era, what we came through, you know, what our parents, what they listened to, like the Four Tops, the Temptations, Marvin Gaye, like you say, Little Stevie Wonder. I was reading something with Barry Gordy, like with Michael Jackson, you know, the Jackson 5, when he was saying like how, I mean, he was what was 8, 9, 10 years old? Little Stevie Wonder, like say 7 years old. Imagine all that. Huh?
Diana Ross introduced Michael Jackson again The Supremes introduced Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 at the Apollo. George, man, my dad, man, I'm there. I see all of that, man. I see Diana Ross sing with the Temptations. I'm just as close to you, this screen right now, as I was to them. And
Wow.
my dad, he knew that sense, man, that sense of, you got to find your spot, but you got to have a spot. But when you talk about singers, you talk about a different world because they were all spotless. The performance was spotless. The dress was spotless.
Motown era. Motown.
When they spoke to the crowd, it was spotless.
Competition. Like he went to the URI, University of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they had like the battle on the bands, if they were big, like with there. But I went to ground because you were talking earlier before we came on about Coach Gaines in Florida. I was down at Grambling firsthand, and 5 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm in the dorm. I hear bump, 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 the horns. I'm like, what the fuck? And I said, oh, it was the band. It was practicing. 5 o'clock in the morning. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's like they get a full ride, they get a full boat, to play an instrument, play the flute, the drum.
They practice just as hard as the teams.
Yo,
yeah. And
so we had at FAMU, they're bigger than the band. They're bigger than the squad.
Yo, you ready? Calvin will tell you this, but we had a chance. We played FAMU. So the University of Rhode Island played FAMU. 81, we played them down there. We played them down there at their stadium, but at that time, their stadium was having some trouble. So we actually played at Florida State Stadium because they're right next to each other. So we played in the Florida State Stadium. And, we got to see the band. We were there for the weekend. No joke, man. We got to see the step shows. We got to see all of that, man.
Yeah, they got the black fraternities there. Groove 5, Groove, C5G. Yeah. I don't know if you had that. Yeah.
No, we didn't have that Rhode Island, man. But we had players from Florida A&M come and take us to the step show. Yeah.
The step show is no joke. That's big in Chi-Town and Detroit. The step yeah, it is mind blowing.
Absolutely mind blowing, man. Absolutely mind blowing. Yeah.
But I love that whole concept about the human race, the one race. That eliminates a lot of that, the prejudices and stuff like that, because I was gonna ask, like, with the stereotypes, how is it, like, the profiling, across the pond, how is it there? You get profile or stereotypes, and they always put us in a lump of sand, huh?
Sure, George, I'm sure, man. You hear about, we got a big thing over here about stop and search. So, like the police in London, police in different places, they don't really have to have a reason to stop and search you. They can suspect, so they can stop and search you. I've been here since '89. Me personally, I ain't never been stopped. I drive a really nice car, Mercedes. I've been driving Mercedes since I can remember. I've not been pulled over. But George, man, I welcome being pulled over because all my papers are right. See, my papers, I learned that. All my papers are going to be right. But I tell you something else about it, George. I like that whole situation because that whole culture thing, like you said, we don't have, but there are culturists out here that may dislike me just because of my culture, just because of what you see. And I'm aware.
It's how you carry yourself, too. The reason you probably haven't been pulled over.
They're here, right?
They see, you walk. You walk a certain way. You talk a certain way. You carry yourself a certain way. Feel me?
I think these things behind me help me get there. These books behind me help me to find that I have a spot. We have a spot, George. And something happened to me here, man, with a friend. It was a guy. He was a white dude. And he got here, man, and I got here, and he started taking me to see history places. He was a lot older than me. And one of the first places he took me to, man, was a pub not far from where I live. He was an older white man, but he took me to a pub, man, where during World War II, black soldiers were welcome. White soldiers didn't like it because they were. This pub than the white soldiers. And I happen to meet, I'm sitting there, they got pictures on the wall, and this man is talking to me, man, and it hit me, dude. Through these books and through different things, through my Bronxville experience, through different things, it's kind of hard to put me in a spot. Because I think sometimes, man, you gotta feel so good about yourself that you don't look at somebody else and say, I wonder what he thinks about me. You see, George, I really don't care what you think about me. I really don't care what they think about me. I like to think of myself as being a handful because I think this education thing is a big deal. So I can understand from my culture's view, you might be disliking me because of what you see and what you hear and the fact that I'm not going to be no wallflower. I get that. But I also feel that it's my duty to assume my position. It is my duty to know my history. It is my duty to know that I belong. And when I look at you, or I look at somebody in a different shade of skin than me, I'm not looking at you to see how you judge me. I'm all right with me. I've been black for 65 years. I'm good. But
you know what? I think you said it. You said a handful, but you said a lot. And when you say that you are all right with me, you're all right with yourself. And that's really where it's at. You know what I'm saying? And once you are good with like in the Egyptian pyramids, they say on the outside it says know thyself.
Yeah.
You know, before you have to go outside to pass that. I can't hate you, man. When I look in the mirror, I see me, I see black man. So I look and I see you. You know what I'm saying? So all blacks and stuff like that, we hate each other a lot of times for crazy stuff because you do drive a nice car, you do dress well, man. You are this or are that. Why would I hate you if I, like you say, aspire? If I can aspire, you aspire me to be a better me by the way that you are better you, how you walk, how you step. You feel me? So, we don't look at it like that. We just, hey, yo, man, this dude here, man, he got a Mercedes. Who the, coming around here driving. He just cleaned his car. You know what I'm saying? For what? What are you talking about, B? Step your game up. Bump your game up.
But a lot of times, George, we've been taught or not taught. Or not schooled. Yeah. If you can go way back in the day and what happened, the things that were put, into motion that kind of worked against us. And they're deep, man. And again, these things behind me, they help you out, man. And these things behind me, well, that's a tough score because, books, man, they cost money to read. But I think passports tell you where you've been. Yeah, passports can show you where you've been. The books, to me, George, explain where I came from, what my stake in is.
Say that again.
Books, and if you can pick any topic you want, man. If you're gonna start out with one, anybody's listening, try Kareem's book, Profiling Courage. It's behind me. Fantastic, man. And the way it's written is fantastic because it's written into this. So we know about the other part of history. You know about slavery. You know about slave ships. You know about all that. But we had a history before that. If you want to know about that, go to a book called Return to Glory. See, that'll tell you about what we did before slavery. Yeah. If you want to, so my research and my reschooling came to England, man, and I had a family of my own. I reschooled, man. I got kids. I wanted my kids to have something to hold on to. You talk about the one race, the human race. I told you I take these kids to New York. Well, if you go to New York and you're a New Yorker, you need to go to the United Nations building because one race, the human race, is on the front of the United Nations building. The United Nations building. It is sketched in stone, man, on the front of the building. Yeah. So, there's things about it now. These things behind me, dude, have been my life. You have, really re-education. Coming to England has been a big deal. Like I said, Bronxville was a big deal. Got me ready for certain things that I'm doing now. But I think the biggest thing, George, is really, man, your spot. Your spot, finding your spot, being comfortable with your spot. I've had, we had jokes like, I get to England, but I get called the Yank. or I'll get called an American. But very few people have ever said I was a Black American.
Okay.
Very few English people, very, 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 very few English people have ever identified me as being a Black American. But I'm American all the time. I'm a Yank all the time. And to me, there's something in that, how they see me. They see
Right.
the American side of it. That I'm American, no matter what shade I come in. I'm
Right.
American. That's where
Well,
I'm from.
that's to your credit as far as like not being called out of your name so much, being called the N word or anything.
Hey, George,
They don't even say a
George,
Black American. You feel me?
I'm gonna be straight. Dude. I gotta be straight with you, man. Dude, I went to Bronxville High School. I was the only Black kitty there. I played baseball. I had some fantastic Italian friends I grew up with in Tuckahoe, man. I'm a paisano, man. We was down, dude. I mean, dude,
I went to
I can't ever remember.
Uh-huh.
I can't ever remember any of them ever using that N-word with me. Ever.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Ever.
interesting.
Ever.
But
At Bronxville High School,
uh-huh.
I never heard that word at Bronxville High School ever.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah, I went to a WCC, Westchester Community College, for 2 years, and you talking about Italian. I had a good friend who was running. We were in the backfield together. Giuseppe Salvatore. Yeah, that was my boy. Blonde. He was a blonde hair, blue eye Italian. We were tight. But yeah, Salvatore Giuseppe Maserano, something like
I was invited to their homes, their moms. Cook food, invited me for food.
Dude,
And treated me, fed me like they fed their own kids, man. Yeah. So we're defined by what we see. I can't switch up because I'm defined by what I see. This is what I saw. This is how they interacted with me. My uncle had a baseball team. The baseball team was in Tuckahoe. My uncle was a lovely man. He ran the team. My uncle traded me to another team. Now, and you might think, hey, that's it, baby. And you might think my uncle traded me as a big deal, but I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, he did me a solid because he came to my house. He said, "Look, he ain't really that good right now. He ain't gonna play much on this team."
That's what he said.
Yo, he was good. He was a good man, but he was my uncle, so he traded me so I could play.
Right.
Yo, man, I went from his team, not playing much, to another team where I was the only Black kitty, played all the time, ended up making the All-Star team. I never looked back since then. So my uncle did me a favor.
He did you a solid, yeah.
If you look at life, you look around life, you're going to find some people that done you some solids like that, man. And my uncle's awesome. He did me a solid, dude. Yeah. Uncle Buddy did me a solid for sure. Yeah.
Let me ask you, on this is what number are you?
I'm 23 there, right next to 45 and 26. And I just spoke to 26 a couple weeks ago. 45 I speak to often. Yo, man, them guys in that picture, man, we came through together. Calvin's there. Me and Calvin are still tight.
Number 4.
That
Calvin's
picture
was
number 4. That picture goes back, man. That's my 5th. I redshirted a year, so that's my 5th year at Rhode Island. Me and the guy number 45, we was the only two our freshman year to get varsity jackets.
Right. Oh, okay.
His name is Tom Mutt. He's also in the Hall of Fame with Calvin. We're sitting.
Cal always talks about that they should open up the books for you. Because he said no. He said, "Yo, man, Jim's a ball player, man." He said, "I don't know why he didn't get picked on the first round."
But I will tell you honestly,
he's serious, man. He really believes that.
I had the worst.
I read that article. You took that back 52 yards. It looks like you out of the bag. What did you play offense?
I played corner. I played cornerback.
No, but I'm saying, but the way you carried, you toting that, like we say down south, we toting that rock, man. You toting that pill.
We just got it.
It said, "Yo, you can tote it." That's a big compliment. The country boys tell you can tote it.
Hey, Calvin played corner, and it's something I always think about, man. Calvin played corner, And you know how you get, man, when somebody is like, somebody, he from where you from, and you play in the same kind of position, and you play up. Yeah, I loved when Calvin played the other corner, man, because that was like, he New Rochelle, he big time. I'm little old Tuckahoe. I got to hold my own. Yeah.
Okay.
When Calvin went over and played running back, I lost it a little bit, man. Yeah. And also, I had probably the worst senior year. And I'll tell you about this. I had the worst senior year of probably any football player in the University of Rhode Island history. But it's a sign for me, George, because back in 1982, when I was having my senior year, I was not doing the right things. You see, karma will come back and hit you.
Well, you was out there.
Well, I wasn't out there, but I had a daughter in New York that I wasn't taking care of, that I was not being a father to. I wasn't even acknowledging. Yeah. And that put me.
Well, you're a young man. You're sowing your oats,
It put me in a dark place because it wasn't me. So then what it got me to do was keeping secrets. I kept everything to myself. So my whole scene that was going on in Tuckahoe, that was just me. I didn't take that to Rhode Island. I didn't have that thing that said, look, man, I need help. Can you help me out? I didn't have that thing that said, yo, man, I need to talk to somebody. Can you talk to me? Now, I had people there. I had some great coaches, Coach Griffin, Coach Karras, great people who would have accepted me and sat down and talked with me, no problem. But I didn't know how to do that. You see, I didn't know how to do that yet. So I kept that to myself. And in retrospect, man, I had probably the worst senior year. I was on a board to possibly, get drafted late rounds. Yeah.
Okay.
In 81. But I had messed that up. I had messed that up so bad in 82 that I ended up getting into the Canadian League. I had an injury. But, that was that 82, man, that was a big year. Rhode Island was a big deal for me, man, because, it was a chance to come from little old Tuckahoe. Meet guys like Kai Davis.
Kai.
Kai, man, meet guys like Sean. Yeah, I went to prep school with Sean.
I grew up with these guys, man.
Sean was a stud. Kai was a stud.
They call them Thunder and Lightning, and the what was the other thing they called it? The dynamic duo, like Batman and Robin here in New York.
Kai was the fastest person I'd ever seen in my life.
Fast. Once he hit that corner, he was gone. He was
fast. Kai
could fast. He could run.
Dude,
you're not gonna believe this. Man. I taught him everything. I taught him everything he knows.
There you go. Yeah,
he don't want to hear that. We get into it a lot, but no, Kai was a ball player, no question.
Oh yeah,
he was fast. I couldn't mess with him in the speed and the speed department. Once he hit that corner, he reminded me of the Juice. His style, because once he hit that corner, it was a wrap. He was out. Sean, let me tell you, Sean was a natural ball player. Sean got hurt a lot before he got to college. Now he did. He used to call him the behind the back. A lot of surgeries, operate his leg, his knee, his shoulder. He's a good ball player, natural ball player. You know what I'm saying? Natural.
Sean was the first muscular running back that I'd ever really seen personally myself.
Yeah.
When Sean was, Sean had a set of legs on him, man. And he could run.
He was a real ball player.
Dude. So he was just, and I played with Sean. I never forget this, man. We played at BC, Boston College, man. And we played at Milford Academy. Boston College had just put down their new turf in the stadium. And I think Sean busted one about 60, 70 yards, but right up the middle. Just right up the middle. Just right up the middle, man. Just gone. But like you said, the injuries, the knee injury and that. But he was a stud,
injuries held him back big time.
Yeah, he was a stud, man. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I met Cal through Sean.
Yeah.
And Kai, it's just such a small world. You know what I'm saying?
I got to know.
I
got to know these dudes. You probably know these boys, man. I got to know these boys from Thomas Jefferson High, the Lamboy brothers. Clark and Kurt Lamboy.
I talked to Lamboy. We would, you and me, I like to talk a lot of smack a lot of times. I talk, trash. I'm a trash talker. I can be.
Yeah.
And I was telling him about when he was at, I went to Bayside High. That's where our mayor here in New York went. Eric Adams went to Bayside as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And so we thought, I know, I guess I just wanted to point out, you shared this a lot because we got 525 people in here now. So
Yeah.
they came for you. You
Well,
feel
yeah,
me?
well,
So
dude,
let me acknowledge that.
I
You
appreciate,
must have shared this joint a lot.
I appreciate I appreciate the whole thing, man. I got a big Facebook crowd at home. Some, my folks. My mom is my
Yeah,
sister.
they
Might be
shared
listening,
this.
man.
They shared
And my
this.
mom is 92. She might
Oh,
be sitting
good
there
Lord.
listening.
God bless her.
Yeah,
Most
My
definitely.
sister,
Yeah,
one
God
of my
bless
lovely
her.
sisters had a birthday yesterday, man. She was my sister Debbie, and my mom's 92, man. She lived in Westchester also. Yeah, my mom called me every day. You ready for this? I talk to my mom every day. You ready for this? She's 92. My mom says to me every day, you ready? Besides, she's saying be good to yourself. My mom says God loves you, and so do I.
Wow. Yeah. That's my do.
92 years old, man. Yo, 92.
You still her baby. You her baby.
I got 4 brothers and sisters, but every day when she speaks to me, she'll say, she probably say the same thing to them, but she'll say to me, yo, man, God loves you, and so do I.
Wow.
Make sure you're good to yourself, man. So life is absolutely fantastic, man. I wish, it's just fantastic, George, but it's the foundation of it all. I've had some fantastic people that I won't even name by color because I don't think I could put them into a color because they just gave me so much. Even from, a guy, when I was at Bronxville High School, I used to work in the summertime at Bronxville High School. And there was a man there. His name was Albert. And Albert used to say to me all the time, Jim, I'm going to teach you to do something with your hands because, you might not amount to much. So I got to teach you to do something. Hey, listen, man, that man taught me how to paint, how to fill windows, how to replace a window, how to caulk a ceiling. He taught me all that. I'm a homeowner. I do it all in my own home. Do you hear me, man?
Yeah,
so
I
my
hear you.
foundation, man, I am so blessed because my foundation is just, I just thank God, man. My foundation is awesome. So what I have to do is what I do, the way I do it, because I'm blessed. So I have to take those trips to New York. I have to do the things on Saturday. I have to make sure that I don't take no pay for that. And sometimes, man, when I go to New York, I pay for my ticket because my wife comes along. Sometimes my children come along. We pay for that. I want these people to see me with my kiddies. I want my family to see. Yeah, I want them to see the family in it. So if you don't know,
you bring people from the kids from the UK, from Portsmouth, UK, to here, the States, United States, New York, specifically. But are you trying to bring people, kids from New York to the UK?
Who out there is listening? Who out there is listening? Who out there can help us out? Man, listen, we always talk about these kids. Yeah, we talk about what they get up to, but we don't take them nowhere. They don't get out of New York. When you look at New York people, I wonder how many New Yorkers have a passport. How many kids?
I was just going to ask you.
How many kids go to the airport?
Listen, but do the kids need a passport as well?
Yeah, man. We get them to sign up for passports. So every kid is ever going on a trip with me. This is number 35, George. 35 have had to apply for a passport. Now you got a passport in your hands. I'm on my 3rd passport, man. My 3rd one. Yeah.
What is that? Every 10 years you got to get it renewed? Is it every 10 years?
Every 10 years. Every 10 years you get it renewed. But I had one that had so many stamps in it that I had to get it renewed because it had too many stamps in it.
It was just too much. Yeah,
I've been here. Austria, Germany, France, Italy.
Wow.
Budapest, Finland.
Wow.
Finland, Spain. Dude, you know what I mean, man? And yes, I want to bring some students
You've been
from
to
there.
Switzerland? You've been to Switzerland?
Yeah. I've been to Finland and I've been to Austria.
My buddy Eddie, so when you said happy birthday to his brother's in Switzerland. He's out
man.
there. He's been there for years.
What a place, man.
He's been there for years.
Anywhere you go, I'm telling you, you're gonna be looked at differently than where you are. Yo, George, I've been here in England. I met an old lady who was 90-something years old. This lady looked at me, and she looked at me like she wanted to eat me, man. I didn't know what was going on.
Maybe she did.
You ready? We start talking, She tells me I remind her of a soldier she met during World War II.
Wow.
Wow. And it was a black soldier. I got a book right over here about black soldiers in Portsmouth during World War II. And I got a book right here. I got the Harlem Hellfighters here. They spent time in England in Portsmouth.
Wow.
So the links for me, man, them books, man, the links for me, dude, it's just been an awesome thing, man. The coaching, like I said, man, this year I'm celebrating 1984, our first championship in high school. That was a team that only won one game in 83. We ended up going to a bowl game in 84 and winning the bowl game.
That's what you coach.
I was head coach. So if you could imagine this, George, I come from 1982, I get out of school. 1982, I go up to Canada. I get hurt. Canadian season starts in May. I get home in May. In June, I'm home in Tuckahoe. In July, I get a phone call from the athletic director saying he's looking for a head coach and I would be a good candidate. Would I be interested? I ain't know nothing about no coaching, man. But
Okay.
what I did know about, I did know about the boys in my neighborhood. I knew about some boys outside the neighborhood. I did know that I had a calling to step in because we had to have football, man. I ain't know nothing about football from coaching. I just came from playing. So I had some really great people around me. I had some great coaches, man. Dude.
Well, you played the game. If you play the game and if you're good at it, you know, like Whitfield said, Coach Cal said, you know, Jim was, you know, hey, man, he's the truth. He know the game. So you understand the principles and, you know, like when I first saw you, like you were breaking down to the kids, like, you know, what kind of player Calvin was.
Oh, yeah.
How dedicated he was, and he was about it. You feel me?
Yes.
So you know the game. So coaching probably came easy for you. Before I go further, I wanted to shout out DJ Shownuff on the check-in in the show. And Shownuff, DJ Shownuff in the building. Very talented brother on the ones and twos. He does his things, but yeah. So, but you probably just transitioned smoothly, you know.
Well, it was,
like,
it was. I didn't know much. I had some good guys around me again. I can't do color, man, because I had one of the top coaches in all of Westchester County ever. A guy named Bob Spinnick, coached at Bronxville High School. He won like 69 games in a row, like 10 years of winning. Yeah.
Damn.
He was now his son.
Wait. How many games?
Dude, this guy won like, you check it, his name was Bob Spinnick. Bronxville had a winning streak of like 69, 70 games. Like
something like that.
Dude, he was something else, man. Well, his son played for me. So what he used to do, invite me to the house, he sat me down. He taught me a 40 defense that I'm telling you right now, a 40 rover defense that I used that I'm telling you right now, man, yo.
Are you coming to camp? Are you coming to camp with me and Cal?
The only reason why I can't make camp, man, is because it's next week. Yeah. And I was doing, one of the things I do in the summertime is run like a work program. So I kind of blew it a little bit. I finished my work program tomorrow. Yeah. And that finishes. I was trying to get home. I was trying to time it up, man, so I could see my mom spend some time there. But I know I had the work program. So I knew, and then I'm back on the road myself in the first week of September. So it was kind of like a real tight thing for me, man. I'm really sad about that. Sad about that because I love coaching, man, and love to get over there. You know, and love working with Calvin, man. And but I missed that coaching bit. And so big deal over here.
Yeah, because I see you and your coaching.
Well, the coaching again, man. The coaching again, dude. The key to my coaching, the key to me being a coach, man, was a guy named Jim Long.
Okay.
Now, Jim Long was actually from Pelham. And Jim Long had actually gone to Florida A&M, dude. And he did not get coached by Jake Gaither, but he had a chance to absorb Jake Gaither, who was a top coach at Florida A&M, black coach. And he brought that thing to me, man. He brought it to me. And then I had another coach named Jerry DeSantis, who I actually played for when I was in high school. And he wanted to be a coach on the staff. And I was honored, man, absolutely honored, man, that he wanted to be on the staff. So between these two guys, again, George, if I'd have just learned to open up a little bit, getting to that stage where you can open up and say, look, man, I don't get it. I don't understand. I need some help here. But that wasn't like my forte when I was a young man.
Understood.
It wasn't like letting everybody in the game. You know what I mean? So, that's the way it went. But that was a great year, man. I got some young kiddies who were trying to put together some kind of reunion. But that's a big deal because I don't know how many of them young men have remained champions in life. I hope they all have. I hope they all got a taste of what winning was like and became champions their whole life. For me, it was a big experience, George, because in '83, we won one game.
Mm-hmm.
And I never forget Jimmy Long talking to me about what you're going to do the next year. And I said to him, dude, the first thing we got to do is make these boys feel good about themselves. So we went out and got new uniforms. We went over to the Adidas factory over there in New Jersey. Everybody had Adidas.
Okay.
Everybody had Adidas. If you didn't have the money, that ain't nothing to worry about. Everybody had Adidas.
Okay.
So we had some lovely uniforms, man. And we told them boys there ain't no party until you get there. The party ain't on until you get there. You high school kids. Don't come to practice talking about, oh, there's a party tonight. I can't wait to get there. Dude, there ain't no party until you get there.
Okay.
So that whole thing about making them feel good about themselves, and that's something I learned, man, because it was done to me at the University of Rhode Island. There was this thing that just made me feel really good about, the University of Rhode Island, man, being a part of the University of Rhode Island. And George, I'm at Rhode Island, man, and I'm in my 5th year. And I'm being straight. I don't graduate, man. I come home. Let me tell you how blessed I am. I come home, and I'm home. And I get a phone call from Coach Griffin, who was the head coach. Coach Griffin's on the phone. His words were, quote, because I never forget it, Jim, we haven't finished the deal yet. I hadn't graduated. This man he could have called me up. He could have never called me again. That man called me up and said, we have not finished the deal. That's how blessed I am, George. So he invited me back for another semester so I could finish. And I did. And I have a degree right above my head. So I thank Coach Griffin every day. I thank my high school coach, a guy named Vito Priori. Vito Priori, when I first went to Bronxville High School, he said, yo, you're not Black Jimmy Roberson coming to Bronxville. You just Jimmy Roberson coming to Bronxville. And that was it. You are just Jimmy Roberson coming to Bronxville. You ain't Black Jimmy. Yo, and that's the way I was treated.
He told it to you like that?
Talk to me like that. Bronxville was amazing. Can you imagine going to school? And I know people thinking I'm going to an all-white school. It's all whites down there, and it's only 1 mile, 2 miles away. I could walk there. You go to Bronxville High School. I've never seen this ever anywhere at any school, anywhere. You walk into Bronxville High School in the morning, they playing music. You're a senior, and because you're a senior, you get to control what music goes on the music box. Right. They had Bose speakers. Now, you might think, yes, I listened to the Rolling Stones, but I also heard, the Crusaders for the first time. I also heard Stevie Wonder every time I went in there. Yeah. I also, jazz, they was on the jazz tip that I was nowhere near. And every morning, I don't ever remember going to school sad at Bronxville High School.
Well, it's interesting what you say. It's just that the fact, like, sometimes we play into the stereotypes, right? And because, we do. And like I told you, I was on an all-white basketball squad. Went to these parties, and I blended in so well, that it didn't become a thing with them, or it wasn't a thing with me either, obviously. So I used to watch, like, growing up, like Leave It to Beaver.
That's my boy.
Father knows best. What I'm saying is just that because does that ostracize me? Does that make me, you know what I'm saying? This is right.
Yes.
So I watch Leave It to Beaver now on MeTV.
I get it over here.
Okay.
I get Bevo. Yo, man, you ready for this? I get Bevo over here.
Because of Bevo. I never felt anything about that, but sometimes people feel like because I'm black or you white or you Chinese or whatever, you should be doing that you should be, because this is what we've been brainwashed and conditioned a lot of times. that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I like Leave It to Beaver. You know, I used to watch the Fine Night, you know, talk all these shows. So it did, you know, I wasn't going to just watch Good Times or just such as,
Yeah.
you know, what I'm saying. So it's like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I like what
Hey.
I like, and that's it.
I used to watch Beaver, and it took me a long time. It took me a long time, George, to figure out that June Cleaver was nothing like my mom. The stuff you could do with June Cleaver, couldn't get away with that with my mom. Beaver had a different situation.
Altogether.
I used to try to get up to that stuff. My mom had a different reaction than what Beaver's mom had.
But I learned a lot, and I
Beaver,
still
man.
like look at how they with Wally, the whole family, and you know what I'm saying. What Ward was, how he broke it down, how he was teaching it, and basic stuff, and it was some good lessons to be learned in those programs and those shows. And nothing simple, nothing fancy like Andy Griffith. Andy Griffith, you know, Mayberry, it's a simple show, but it's basic. It's some good stuff. Funny, you know, Barney, they funny, but it's some good lessons in the context of those shows, the structure of those shows.
And I guess, George, life like that, like I told you, man, I'm living a real life Sidney Poitier, but you know, To Serve with Love. I can rewrite the movie, George.
I cried with that show. I cried.
If you know anybody want to do a movie, we can redo the movie because that's what I've been living.
With love. I mean, that's so they fell in love with him, but he was just so, you know, from where he was from, his background, his Jamaican upbringing and stuff like that, the raising. But he didn't alter who he was. That's what I love about that movie. He was who he was, and they, you know, were who they were. They taught him. He said, "I learned a lot from y'all." The way with the language and stuff like that, you know. So it was interesting. And when she asked him, "Sir, you used to, you know, you were poor," because he was so, you know, elegant, so sophisticated. The way he proper, the way he spoke, they couldn't relate the fact that he was like them.
Yeah, hey dude, I use him as a blueprint. I use the movie as a blueprint. You want to hear something? You want to see something? I'll be in New York in April. I'll take this class. I'll take the whole school. We'll go down to Macy's, and I take them to Macy's, and I take them around Macy's. You need to see some folks' reaction to when these kids are calling me sir.
Wow.
Because that's what they call me when I'm in New York. Yeah. That's what we call it. That's what they call me. So we're in Macy's. They get ready to buy something. They turn around and say, sir. Or we're in Foot Locker. They get ready to buy a pair of Jordans. They say, sir, what do you think about these? And you should see the reaction, see the faces, man.
I love it.
And then we have to break it down and say, yo, they from
England. To that. I love to be around
from England. And it's fantastic, man. And I've been sir. And that's it. Mr. Robeson is sir, but most of the time it's sir. But I ain't never been deviated from. Yeah. So it's just been a fantastic thing, George. Absolutely fantastic. And we need more folks. I don't understand why more Black Americans, I'll put it like that, don't come to Portsmouth. Because if you had anybody,
we don't know about it.
If you had anybody,
we're not educated along those lines.
Anybody, they came through Portsmouth because all Black soldiers came through Portsmouth.
But we don't know about that, Jim.
I can show you where they was. I've seen the whole thing. I can show you where they was bivouacked, where they stayed, where they slept in sleeping bags. I can show you where they left for World War II. I can tell you what the jobs they had. Yeah, I can tell you where they baked bread at because I've been there and I've seen it. But it's the thing to me, I don't see many. And I question it. Why? Because we have a history, that you have to learn about. And then you got to visit it, man. I go to Italy. I've been to Tunisia. I went to Tunisia to try to get a little whiff of Hannibal. They told me Hannibal was Tunisian. Yeah. And so he was, first a Moor, but that whole thing about, so I went and tried to see it, man. But this whole thing about history, the whole thing about these books, it's fantastic stuff, man. And once you get it in you, there's a certain position you assume. I like to think all my children have assumed the position. I got 4. All of them got a university degree. A couple of them got masters. But, we stress that education, man. And then I think no matter what goes down with them, they're going to be all right because they got that education. Yeah,
No.
and they're all smarter than me. I got it. I got it, and they're all smarter than me, so I knew they was gonna be all right if they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Jim, it's been great, man. And before we break out, before you leave, I want you to come back and you can do a follow up and we talk again.
Please.
What is your hat? What is the
So
symbol?
my company's called Youth Minded. So if I stand up here, around here we wear Youth Minded stuff. Nike don't pay no bills. Reebok don't pay no bills. Youth Minded pay all the bills. The sign on the hat. Yes, it is. The sign on the hat is basically the sign of the windmill. The windmill stands for the ability to face difficulty in life. So my lovely wife brought me a book on ancient African artifacts. In the book, I saw the windmill. I also have it tattooed on my arm. But think about a windmill, George. You put a windmill up in the harshest conditions. And all that windmill will do is keep on churning out that power. Keep on churning out, keep on churning. Windmill don't stop, dude. Yeah. And again, they stick it in the toughest places. So to me, the company's called Youth Minded. And basically, like I said, the sign of the windmill, the ability to face difficulty in life, man, and keep on going. You might call it adversity, but we do that, man. We keep on going.
God bless you, brother. And anything else where you can be reached at?
Hey, I'm at, you got youthminded.com, www.youthminded.com. Hey, man, we're out here. I got get back on the road next week. Got 5 dates in September. I'm trying to slow down, man. I'm gonna work 4 days a month, dude. I'm gonna do 4 days a month, and that's it. 4 days a month.
When are you planning on coming back to the States with the kids?
I'll be in the States. I got a friends and family trip. October 27th, I'll be at home. I'll be staying at the Crown Plaza in Manhattan, right in Times Square. And I'll have about 9, 10 of my family members with me. But I'll be doing a friends and family then. And then I got 2 school groups. Check this out. I got a group in April coming across from my school. Yeah, so that should be like my final, kind of like trip. And then I ran into this guy, George, and he was so bitten by what we've been talking about. He has an elementary school, and he has asked me to bring across a group of year 6 kids. Now, year 6, I told this dude, I said, my man, you're going to give these kids something for absolute life, man. Year 6, going to New York, seeing these buildings, going up. Year 6, like 10 years old. So I'm looking forward to that. So I got 2 trips. I got 3 trips between October and next April. Yeah, so that's what I do, man. That's a big deal for me.
And so you're bubbling, man, and it comes through. The whole, how you feel and everything. It shows. You're glowing.
Yeah, find your spot, man. Hey, have your spot. Do your thing. Yeah, and if you got that knowledge about what you're doing and what you believe in what you're doing, see, I believe in what I'm doing, and I know what I'm doing is right. I know what I'm doing is good for these lovely young people. Yeah, and I know that.
And I know you, sir.
So that's
the third thing. That's the beautiful thing. I told you that movie made me cry, man. It made me cry.
George, when I do my speeches, this is when a Youth Minded works. This is a money back guarantee. See, if you don't like what Youth Minded deliver today, then you ain't got to pay us. You see, we're going to be on point. See, that's going back to 82. See, I'm never going to have another 82 season, ever. So when it came company time.
But you're living it, but you still live it, though. You don't need another one. It's good. You live it every day. You have that moment every day because you can still draw back on it. It's a beautiful thing.
I got one more.
You, Jim. I
got one more for you. I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
You remember when we was kids, man, and you had a summer program called like Community Action, and you could work, and they pay you some money. You may work sweet streets.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I got one going right now this summer. I call it Work Appreciation. I got 12 kiddies working at the school. Yeah, and they'll work for 4 weeks of the summer holiday. The last day is tomorrow, but they've all earned money, paid into a bank account that they set up through the company. Yeah.
That's how you do it there? Wow.
Still doing it, man. Still getting it done. And that's
no doubt. So Jim Roberson, you got to come back. I really we got it's a lot of I didn't even get a lot of things to ask you.
Yeah.
I got a whole list of everything, but if you're willing, we'll talk. And
let's do part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, my man. I'm in.
I love you and I thank you, bro. Enjoy your trip, your evening, and God bless you, brother.
Very much appreciated, man. Thank you very much, man. Very much appreciated.
Most definitely, I appreciate you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
All
I'm
right,
getting
my
ready to
man.
get this. All right, no doubt. Good night.
Take care, dude.
You
Bye-bye.
too, Jim. Thank you. Bye. Hey, that was Jim Robison, youth-minded. That was a good interview. I appreciate that. I appreciate Jim. Thank you so much. Smooth brother, huh? And they call him Sir. I got something that movie To Sir with Love. That shit had me crying, man, when I first saw it, because just how the transition, how them young people, they were really at first, there was a couple of, rogues or whatever that they rejected him. They just didn't know him. They didn't get used. They didn't understand him. But then when they understood him, when they found out what kind of man he was, and he got to know them, it was difficult for him as well, because they were rough. They were from, I think, the east side of London. They were hard. They were kids that were ghetto. They were hood kids. They were white. Yes, there were a couple of blacks in the classroom, but they were they were different from what he knew, and he was different from what they knew, and they grew on each other. Is a great movie. To Sir with Love, and Jim Robison is living that, but he's a good individual, and the work that he's doing really is needed. And thank him again and bless him on that. And I got some good shows coming down the pipe as well, but this one was special. I enjoyed it. And without further ado, I said further ado is no further ado, but I just say good night, and we'll leave it like that. And I'll come tomorrow, and I'll do like a summation, and then give my future shows coming down the pipe. And I had Ray Evans on, who was chairman of the Pleasant Grove Restoration Project out of South Carolina Historical School. And hey, this is in line with that. And you know what? I'm going to say good night. I'm going to say have a good night. If you have a loved one, you tell them you love them. Huh? Hug them. Let them know. All right? Call them and say life is short. So do it that way. Okay? And stay safe and peace. And remember, persistence overcomes resistance all the time. All right? God bless you. Good night. Peace.